For a long, long time, the line between our minds and machines felt, well, absolute. But something's been happening, a quiet revolution that's about to totally rewrite what it even means to be human.
I mean, really think about it. What if you could move a cursor on a screen, send a message, or even control a robotic limb, all without moving a single muscle? What if your brain could just talk directly to the digital world? Well, on January 29, 2024, that question got a very real answer. Elon Musk's company Neuralink implanted its first device into a human being. And just like that, the future arrived. But to really get what this moment means, we've got to go back a bit.
You see, Neuralink's big breakthrough didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's really the latest, most exciting chapter in a story that's been in the making for more than 100 years.
This whole journey kicked off way back in 1875 with the simple discovery of electrical signals in the brain. It took almost 100 years just to get from there to someone coining the term brain-computer interface. Then another 25 years before the very first implant in a human. And then came 2016, when Neuralink was founded with the explicit goal of hitting the accelerator on this whole thing.
So what even is a BCI? You know, at its core, it's basically a bridge. It's a system that can read the electrical chatter your brain is making all the time, your intentions, your thoughts, and translate it into commands that a machine can actually understand.
Okay, so BCIs have been around. What makes Neuralink such a game changer? Well, it really boils down to three things: scale, precision, and a whole lot of really clever innovation.
Honestly, the leap forward here is just massive. Where the older systems used a few hundred stiff, rigid electrodes, Neuralink is using over 1,000 of these incredibly fine, flexible threads. And that flexibility is the secret sauce. They can move with the brain, which means less damage and a much better, more stable connection over time. That's how they get such incredible precision. And the procedure itself? It's like something out of a sci-fi movie. A purpose-built surgical robot handles the whole thing with, frankly, superhuman precision. It places the threads, it installs the tiny 8mm link chip right into the skull and seals it all up. The result is an implant that's totally invisible from the outside and wirelessly beams brain activity to a computer 24/7. But let's step back from all the incredible tech for a second, because the main mission, the reason for all of this, is deeply human. It's about giving back what was lost.
And this is the reality of that mission. The very first patient, a man paralyzed from the shoulders down after an accident, can now control a computer cursor just by thinking. He even did a live stream where he talked about playing online chess and video games for hours on end, a level of independence he hadn't had in years. This is where the technology stops being theory and starts changing lives.
And the potential goes way beyond paralysis. We're talking about brand new ways to treat things like epilepsy, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. They're even working on a blind sight implant to restore vision and systems to control robotic limbs. It's a new way of hope for a whole range of really difficult neurological conditions.
But, restoring function is only half the plan here. Neuralink's ambitions go so much further than just medicine. They're venturing right into the territory of human enhancement.
You can see it right there in their own mission statement. It's a two-parter. Restore autonomy today, that's the medical side we just talked about, and then the much bigger, wilder goal, unlock human potential tomorrow. So yeah, the long-term vision isn't just about fixing problems. It's about creating a true symbiosis between the human brain and artificial intelligence. The idea is to create this super high-bandwidth connection that could fundamentally upgrade our own minds, and as they see it, help us keep up with AI as it gets more powerful.
Right? So a technology this powerful doesn't just raise our hopes. It raises some profound civilization-level questions that we are only just beginning to figure out how to answer.
The first fear is probably the most obvious one, right? If our brains are connected to the digital world, what's to stop a hacker from getting in? I mean, forget stealing your password. What happens when someone can steal a thought? And then there's the privacy question. Your neural data is the most personal, intimate data that could possibly exist. So who owns it? The company? The government? And what are they allowed to do with it?
And what about equality? If these incredible enhancements are only available to people who can afford them, does that create a new, permanent biological divide in society between the haves and the have-nots? These questions are so big and so urgent that they've actually sparked a whole new field of law and ethics, all centered on this idea of neurorights. The thinking is that our current human rights laws just might not be enough to protect our minds in this new world. And lawmakers are already starting to move.
Chile actually became the first country in the world to change its constitution to protect brain activity. Spain has a new charter of digital rights, and here in the US, states like California and Colorado are already classifying neural data as sensitive info, and the EU's Big AI Act could end up regulating these devices too.
Now, with all this incredible potential and these really deep ethical debates, it's so easy for hype to just spin out of control. A perfect example is that rumor that just won't die about a Tesla Pi phone. You see it all over social media. Claims about a new phone with Neuralink built right in. The reality? It's a total hoax. Elon Musk has personally and very bluntly shot it down multiple times. It's a good reminder to separate the real, groundbreaking science from all the digital noise.
So all of this leaves us standing at a crossroads, trying to balance a future of unbelievable medical promise against some of the most complex challenges we as a species have ever had to think about.
It really all boils down to this central tension. On one side, you have this profound hope to restore what's been lost, to treat diseases we thought were untreatable, to understand the brain in a way we've only dreamed of. And on the other side, you have these very real fears about what happens when our privacy, our quality, and even our very identity are put on the table.
And that brings us to the final and most important question. This technology is not science fiction anymore. It's here. The journey has started. The challenge for every single one of us is to figure out how to guide it, to make sure that as we connect our minds to machines, we end up amplifying the very best parts of our humanity, instead of losing them in the process.